Hello friend, today we will discuss about the vapor compression refrigeration system. In previous lecture we have discussed the basics of refrigeration effect, unit of refrigeration and reverse Carnot cycle, some of their numerical, and after that we have discussed the air refrigeration system and a different type. Now we have to discuss about the vapor compression refrigeration system of BCRS is called. It is very important cycle because most of the refrigeration, air conditioning system are based on the this cycle only. Okay, so let's see what today we will discuss about the vapor compression refrigeration system. Second, the vapor compression COP, how we can find out. Then third, volumetric efficiency, different type of BCRS cycle. Then subcooling in BCRS cycle. Then various parameter which affect the COP of BCRS and actual BCRS and numerical one. Okay, so let's see first. So first we will understand the vapor compression refrigeration system with the help of the diagram, with the help of the pH diagram and block diagram. So there are four components as you see here: compressor, condenser, expansion and evaporator. These are the main component of refrigeration system. Okay. In compressor, generally we compress the refrigerant. It goes to the condenser where the compressed refrigerant, the phase will change from the vapor to the liquid. So it reduce the or it extract the latent heat of vaporization from the refrigerant. Okay. Then it goes to the expansion valve where it expand, then temperature and pressure decreases, and then we supply this cooled refrigerant to the evaporator where it create the cooling effect. Okay. So if we see in the pH diagram here, you can see in pH diagram from evaporation arrow here you have the compression which is take place in the compressor, then condenser which is taking place in the condenser, then expansion which is taking place in the expansion device, then evaporation which is taking place in the evaporator. Okay, so this is how the pH diagram for the BCRS cycle. Okay. Next we see the process, what are the process involved in that. So if we see the process compression, it should be ideally as a isentropic compression. Then again in condenser there is constant pressure heat rejection. In expansion it called the throttling process. In evaporation constant pressure heat absorption. Okay. So condenser we reject heat and in evaporator we absorb heat at the constant pressure. Okay. So next here you can have the some block diagram of the BCRS. Here you can have the compressor 1 to 2, 2 to 3 is the condenser where heat is being removed to the environment. The 3 to 4 the expansion valve or expansion device where the temperature of refrigerant decrease, and 4 to 1 there is evaporator where we absorb the heat from the storage place or space. Okay. So this is the block diagram. Then here again I have represented the TS and PV diagram, TH and TS diagram. So in TS diagram we represent like this: 1 to 2 is the isentropic process, in that the entropy remain constant. Then 2 to 3 here 2 to 3 the constant pressure heat rejection in condenser. Then 3 to 4 isenthalpic process or throttling process. Okay. Then 4 to 1 constant pressure heat rejection. Similarly this relation we can represent in the pH diagram here. Okay. 1 to 2 isentropic process, 2 to 3 is the constant pressure heat rejection, 3 to 4 is the isenthalpic or throttling process, and 4 to 1 is the constant pressure heat rejection. Here you can see the 4 to 1 constant pressure because this is the horizontal p axis, and here you can see in one axis one pressure is there where P1 equal to P4. Similarly in condenser there are P2 equal to P3. So it being the constant pressure lines. Okay. So here it is written 1 to 2 is the isentropic compression compressor, 2 to 3 constant pressure heat rejection in condenser, 3 to 4 throttling in expansion device, 4 to 1 constant pressure heat absorption in the evaporator. Okay. So, this is how we can represent the BCRS on the TS diagram and PS diagram. Then we need to find out the COP of the BCRS. So, how we can find out? First, we apply the steady flow energy equation for each device or each component, neglecting the kinetic energy and potential energy changes. Okay. First, we apply this in the compressor. In compressor, we have inlet at 1 and outlet at the 2 points. So, at 1 we have enthalpy H 1 plus we are giving some electricity work or electricity. So, it take W c or compressor work equal to final point it reached to that point 2 where the enthalpy is S 2 plus Q, in between there is heat transfer. Okay. So, we take the Q, but in ideal situation we assume that Q equal to 0. So, there is no heat transfer in the from the system to the environment. Okay. So, this equation become W c equal to H 2 minus H 1. Similarly, we apply this to the condenser where you have the inlet H 2 plus Q r being heat being removed equal to H 3, where the 3 point enthalpy plus W. Here we are not doing any work in the condenser. So, the work of condenser or W equal to 0. So, heat rejected being Q r equal to H 3 minus H 2. Here heat is rejecting from the system. So, we give to the minus, it should be in minus. Okay. So, we adjust this equation minus in bracket H 2 minus H 3, okay, in bracket close. So, this heat always is negative because this heat is transferred from the system to the environment. Okay. So, according to thermodynamics that should be the negative sign. So, but while the calculation we are not represent that negative. Okay. So, it will be S 2 minus S 3 here. Okay. So, next is the throttling process. In throttling process we know the enthalpy remain constant. So, H 3 will be equal to H 4. Similarly, next is the evaporator where you have the H 4 point at the inlet plus Q A, the heat absorbed from the evaporator equal to H 1, the exit point of the evaporator, plus W. Here also we are not doing any work. So, W will be 0. So, in Q A equal to H A minus H 4. Okay. So, that we get here. So, we know what was our interest to find out the COP actually. So, we know the COP equal to refrigeration effect equal to work input. Okay. So, what is the refrigeration effect? Refrigeration effect always happen where? In the evaporator. So, evaporator you have H 1 minus H 4, and where is the work input we are giving? We are giving the work input in the compressor. So, in compressor we have calculated the W c equal to H 2 minus H 1. Okay. So, then we can write this COP equal to H 1 minus H 4, which is refrigeration effect, divided by the H 2 minus H 1, which is the work input in the compressor. So, this we can also write this H 1 minus H 3 because H 3 equal to H 4 divided by the H 2 minus H 1. So, this is the COP of the BCRS system. Okay. Then we need to find out the power input to the compressor. If we are a design engineer of the refrigeration system, we should know how much system will take the power consumption in respect of the cooling effect. Okay. So, how we can calculate? We will discuss here. If the m dot or m dash is the mass flow rate of refrigerant, then power input is equal to P in equal to m dash multiply W n, or we can say the work input here is the in compressor. So, it will be H 2 minus H 1. So, this equation we can write here m dot or m dash bracket H 2 minus H 1 bracket close, or it should be in kilojoule per second. So, it will be in kilowatt. Okay. Then generally in numerical the question is the what is the refrigeration capacity. So, this how we can calculate refrigeration effect or refrigeration capacity equal to m dash or mass flow rate of refrigerant multiply refrigeration effect. So, refrigeration effect what was here? it is the in evaporator which is H1 minus H4. So, here the mass flow rate of refrigerant m dash multiply bracket H1 minus H4 bracket close kilojoule per second. So, this is the refrigeration capacity. Okay. Then there is also we need to calculate the volumetric efficiency of reciprocating compressor. So, first we need to define the what is the volumetric efficiency of the compressor. Here we are talking for the reciprocating compressor, okay, because most of the compressor used in the refrigeration system are reciprocating, not all, okay, but most. Like hermetical, it also the type of the reciprocating compressor. So, definition. So, if we define, it is the breathing capacity of compressor and it defined as the actual volume of refrigerant entering in the compressor to the swept volume. Okay. So, if m dash is the actual mass flow rate of refrigerant and small v is the specific volume of the refrigerant at the inlet, then actual volume flow rate will be m dash multiply v, small v, okay. And swept volume generally we represent pi by 4 d square L or area multiply length. Here it d square, but it should be pi by 4 d square L, okay, where d is the bore diameter, L is the stroke length. And if there is a speed in the compressor, then we also need to multiply with the n, which is speed in RPM. Okay. So, if one cycle is completed in n revolution per minute, then we have volumetric efficiency equal to actual volume flow rate entering in the compressor m dash small v, okay, divided by the swept volume pi by 4 d square L multiply n speed of the compressor. It is in RPM. So, minutes we need to convert in seconds. So, we divide here by 60 multiply k, k is the number of cylinder. Okay. So, this is how the equation is for the volumetric efficiency. Okay. Then there is type of BCRS system. So, there are three type of BCRS system. First is the simple BCRS system, then second is the wet BCRS, then third is the superheated BCRS system. So, these four I can represent with the help of the TS diagram here. Okay. In the first TS diagram, you can see 1 to 2 is the isentropic compression, 2 to 3 is the constant pressure heat rejection, and 3 to 4 is the throttling process, 4 to 1 the heat absorption at constant pressure. So, 1 and point 1 basically 1 is starting from the saturated curve. Okay. It means it is the simple BCRS system. Okay. In second diagram, you can see the one or inlet of the compressor is starting in between is the in between in curve, okay, or in between in wet region. Okay. So, this system, second system or second diagram will represent the wet VCRS system, because here the inlet of the compressor is starting from the wet region. Okay. So, this is called the wet vapor compression refrigeration system. Third is the superheated. So, inlet of the compressor started from the superheated region. So, here you can see 1 dash is starting from the superheated region and compressor is in between 1 dash to 2. Okay. So, at the inlet of is depend on the where the inlet of the compression. If it is in superheated region, then that cycle will be superheated BCRS. If it is in wet region, then it is the wet vapor compression, and if it is in saturated curve, then it is simple vapor compression. Okay. So, this is how we can classify it or types of the BCRS system. Then there is subcooling in BCRS. Subcooling is what? To reduce the temperature at the one side and it gains some heat to the another side. Okay. So, here we will see. Here you can see subcooling from the there is a you can have the component like heat exchanger here, the expansion device, evaporator, compressor and condenser. So, we will start from the compressor from the 1 to 2 point. Okay. So, the compressor will compress the refrigerant, then it goes to the condenser, then it phase will change, then it goes to the heat exchanger. So, in subcooling the another component is come is the what, the heat exchanger, where it can transfer the heat from the condenser or liquid refrigerant to the vapor refrigerant at the out of the evaporator. Okay. So, here from the TS diagram you can represent here, 1 minute. Okay, it's now working. So, here you can have the subcooling in BCRS on the TS diagram. So, from 1 to 2 1 to 1 dash there is the superheating with the help of the subcooling, then 1 dash to 2 is the compression, then 2 to 3 is the condensing, and 3 to 3 dash is the subcooling at the out of the condenser, which is inside the heat exchanger. Similarly, 1 to 1 dash also the heat gain in the heat exchanger, but at the inlet of the compressor, or you can say end of the or after the evaporator. Okay. So, the subcooling generally happen inside the heat exchanger. Okay. So, here we have the equation for the subcooling. So, we know that heat loss equal to heat gain when the ideal situation, then we can, where we are losing the heat, we are losing the heat in the after condensing. So, 3 to 3 dash we are losing heat and we are gaining the heat in the 1 to 1 dash. So, that represent, if we represent with the help of the equation. So, this become S3 minus S3 dash equal to, here the higher enthalpy H1 dash minus H1. Okay. So, this become, but if we want to represent this in temperature, so generally it come the specific heat is the Cp of liquid. Okay. 3 to 3 dash is in liquid region. So, specific heat of liquid is different and specific heat of the vapor refrigerant is different. So, here we need to write the specific heat of Cpl, L means liquid, multiply T3 minus T3 dash bracket close equal to Cp V, V means vapor in bracket T1 dash minus T1. Okay. So, here directly you can the superheat is not equal, because here the specific heat of the liquid is different and specific heat of the vapor is different. Okay. So, the degree of superheat T1 dash minus T1 is not equal to degree of subcooling T3 minus T3 dash, because the specific heat of liquid and vapor are not same. Okay. So, this was the some concept. Now, we need to focus on the numerical. So, how we can calculate the power requirement in the numerical. So, generally university ask in many exams. Okay. So, here you can have the first question. In a 5 kilowatt cooling capacity refrigeration system operating on simple vapor compression cycle, the refrigerant enter the evaporator with the enthalpy of 75 kilojoule per kg and leave the enthalpy is 183 kilojoule per kg. Enthalpy of refrigeration after the compression is 210 kilojoule per kg. Find the COP and power input. So, how we can find this? Okay. So, we know the enthalpy at the 3 point. It is given the enthalpy at the end of the condenser, which is S3 75 kilojoule per kg. It given the enthalpy at the inlet of the condenser H1 equal to 183. It given the enthalpy at the outlet of the condenser, which is S2 equal to 210. So, we know the COP equation, COP equal to H1 minus H4 divided by the S2 minus H1. So, we put these value here, we got the COP equal to 4. Then we know the COP equal to refrigeration capacity divided by the power input. So, we know the COP refrigeration capacity in numerical, it is already given 5 kilowatt. So, we can find out the power input 1.25 kilowatt. Okay. So, this is how we can calculate the numerical. Then second numerical, they have asked the find the refrigeration capacity. You can read it out and do yourself. So, find the refrigeration capacity in kilowatt and COP. Okay. Here they have given the refrigeration table also. Okay. The temperature limit है this here temperature limit is the -20 degree and 40 degree, and refrigerant entering the condenser as the saturated vapor and leave the saturated liquid. So here the condition is given that refrigerant should reach at the condenser saturated vapor and leave also at the saturated liquid. Okay. So according to that we need to draw the diagram like here. Okay. 2 to 3 there is condenser, so at the inlet it should be saturated vapor, outlet it should be saturated liquid. Okay. So this should be the diagram for this numerical. Okay. But here it is the wet condition. So this numerical is the in wet vapor compression type. Okay. So here given data is given S2 equal to 200, S3 equal to 40 kilojoule per kg, and mass flow rate also is given. We know the enthalpy equation H1 equal to Hf plus X Hg 1 minus Hf1 bracket close. Then we can find out here the enthalpy. We need to find out actually, but here first we need to find out the X, the Turn's fraction. So with the help of the equation S1 equal to Sf plus X in bracket Sg1 minus Sf bracket close, we can find out the X, which is coming here 0.9. Then we can find out the H1. So H1 we got here 164 kilojoule per kg. Then we can find out the COP because we know all enthalpy term. So here enthalpy COP is coming 2.33. Similarly RC refrigeration capacity, we know mass flow rate multiplies the refrigeration effect. So we put this value enthalpy H1 minus H4 in this equation, we get the refrigeration capacity is 2.1 kilowatts. So this is how we can solve this numerical. Okay. Similarly third numerical also we can solve. Here they have asked about the COP, but the condition is the temperature limit for ammonia refrigerant. Ammonia they have considered the refrigerant. Okay, 25 degree and -10. The refrigerant is dry saturated at the end of the compressor. Okay, and find the COP. Assume that refrigerant leave the saturated liquid at the exit of the condenser. So the TS diagram we make here like this, equation 3. Okay, same like previous one, wet vapor compression. So again you can do yourself, I think here. So from the table we can have the H3 which is on saturated liquid state. Similarly H2 we have from the table, but here H2 will be H3 plus HFG, because H3 plus this 3 to 2 is the latent heat of vaporization. So HFG is come. So we can find out the H2 which is coming 1465.84 kilojoule per kg. Similarly H1 we need to find out with the help of the equation like previous question. So first here we need to find out X, but here in table the SG is not given. Okay, so how we can find out this type of question? Let's see. We know the process 1 to 2 is the isentropic, then S1 equal to S2, then and Sg minus Sf. We also know the latent heat divided by the temperature. So Sg minus Sf we find out with the help of this equation. So S2 equal to Sf here. Okay, Sf3 plus Sg minus Sf, and this will be latent heat divided by temperature. So we are doing here. Okay, 1.125 plus latent heat at the high temperature divided by temperature 25 degree. In Kelvin we need to put this, so plus 273. Then this is coming S2 equal to 5.04 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, then again we can find out the S1, Sf1 plus X in bracket Sg minus Sg1 minus Sf1. Okay, so here also we need to put Sf1 because S1 equal to S2, so we put here S1 equal to 5.04 equal to 0.5443. This we can find out from table, and plus X and this latent heat divided by temperature. So we need to put this value, and we got the X equal to 0.9116. Okay, so we can calculate the H1 which is coming 1317.70 kilojoule per kg, and then COP will be H1 minus H3 divided by H2 minus H1. Then we put this value in this COP equation, then we will get the COP equal to 6.88. Okay, so this is how we can calculate the numerical for the vapor compression refrigeration system. Okay, so that's all today. We will discuss further topic or next topic in the next video lecture. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you like the video, please subscribe and like and comments. Thank you very much. Have a good day.